So when the party's over, you get to just sit back with your Diet Coke and chocolate and wait for commission check, right? That's what we all do, right? No, not exactly. Because really, after the party ends, that's when your job really begins, right? There's a saying that I'm sure everybody probably knows. It's the most popular saying about follow-up. So we'll see if you all know it. It starts with the word fortune. The fortune is in follow-up, right? And it's really, really true. That's where it keeps coming back to you. You don't have to work as hard at getting new things if you work on being good at follow-up. And follow-up really is just all about relationships, right? Relationships with customers, relationships with your hosts, and relationships with your team members. Probably one of your most important relationships is with your team members, and building those relationships and helping them to feel comfortable with you and them knowing that you're there for them, right? The same thing with customers and hosts. I have a customer that is the biggest cotton candy cookie freak I've ever seen, and I like it, but I don't love it. But she loves the stuff, and she will order it in 24 to 36 at a time. Love it. Like 5 warmers in her house. Love it. Loves it. And so I always know that if I want to keep her happy, I need to have some cotton candy cookie bars and some scent circles. And when it came back in the spring so she could get scent circles and room spray, she was pretty excited. So just be aware and make sure you take care of people and follow up with them. I follow up with her often to see if she's ready for more, especially if I know it's going away again. So it's important that we are authentic. We talk about this, simple and generous with our customers, our hosts, and our teams. And that means being generous with our time and our resources and the things that we offer to all of them. And follow-up is really how we build those deep, lasting relationships. And it allows us to serve everybody a little bit better. So you should have a page 8 in your workbook. We're going to talk about a little activity here. This is the tale of 2 baskets, right? So you're going to kind of take a minute to kind of learn what the difference is between being a salesperson and a consultant, right? And kind of the difference between that. So in your workbook, I want you to first, there's a section where, let me make sure I'm looking at the same thing here. There's 2 lines where you have some space there that you can write what's your favorite Scentsy products. It can be from currently, it can be from the very first thing you ever loved. It can be 10 things that you always have to have on hand, for yourself and your family. Any just list out what your favorite Scentsy products are. Just give you a couple minutes to do that. Okay, so when you've got your list, and I want you to pick somebody. It can be somebody next to you, or you can get up and move around if you'd like and talk to somebody new. Up to you. But I want you to hand that list, switch lists with somebody, and I want you to read through their list. You read through theirs, they read through yours, and I want you to create in your mind an imaginary gift basket of what you would put together for a gift basket for that person based on what they've listed of their favorite things. So just take a minute to list and swap, and then in your mind create a gift basket for them. Something you think they'd really enjoy to get in a basket. She uses the door prize entry drawings, but as soon as the person fills it out, but as soon as they leave, she's had a conversation with them, and as they leave, she makes sure she flips it over and makes notes about anything that she remembers, so she won't forget what she talked about with them, such as their child plays soccer or dance, or they love Mexican food, or whatever the case may be. And then she immediately the next day will email them and say, thank you for coming by my booth, and I think it's great that your son plays soccer, mine does too. Maybe we'll run into each other in a tournament, or things like that instantly make a connection with people, that they know that you remembered them and you cared enough to contact them immediately and to let them know that you were. Kathy keeps a recipe box of people and their information of things that are unique that might come in handy later, like someone who doesn't necessarily love the girly scents, and a lot of the guy scents have gone away. She keeps Route 66 is coming back. She's calling them to let them know, even though it's been a couple of years. Kara, did you have something?
I learned this one from Colette, but ask them if they want to be added to your text list so you can text them when you're having an open house or when there's specials.
Awesome. Ask them if they want to be on a text list, and then you can also text them, which is a little more instantaneous than hoping someone opens an email sometimes, right? Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about a follow-up system. So at least one idea. There's lots of them out there, and whatever works for you is the right one, right? You don't have to do any one that I'm talking about or anyone else, but something that works for you. And sometimes it's an adaptation of several, right? That really works for you. But let's go ahead and in your workbook, you should have a specific page that says follow-up activity 222 follow-up system. Okay, so we're going to take a look at that. And it's pretty simple to remember, right? Because 222 is not a difficult combination of numbers, and it's pretty easy to remember. So the 222 system means 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. So 2 days is when you want to, and you want to have these in your calendar, right? That's the most important thing, okay, is to have these in your calendar. So 2 days you want to follow up with your customers. So you may make a sale, say, on Monday. So on Wednesday, you're going to want to make some contact with them on that following Wednesday. Then the next should happen in 2 weeks later, and then the next should be 2 months later. You'll put it on your paper calendar, put it in your phone, put it in whatever works for you. Okay? So, and the contact can be different every time. Your first 2 days may be a quick text, just because you just talked to them, at a party 2 days ago. So maybe your first 2 days is a text. In 2 weeks, maybe it's a phone call. In 2 months, maybe you send them a card or something like that lets you connect with them. So the hardest part of that is trying to figure out what do you say, right, in 2 days, 2 weeks, and 2 months. So on the 222 sheet, there's 3 columns. Okay, you've got one for each of those 222 things. And we're going to kind of go along and think of some ideas that we might use to make this follow-up system work best. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas, and then you'll go ahead and take a couple minutes to just write down things that you can think of, and then we'll share. So, for example, your 2-day contact, like I said, maybe keep it simple and text or call them and ask them if they're happy with the products that they bought. Are they happy with their Scentsy products? And you might ask a couple of questions about, did you love the Sunkissed Citrus scent? It's perfect for summer. Something like that. You might also thank them and then remind them to reach out to you if they need anything else or if they have any questions that come up about their products, right? 2 weeks later, you might want to contact them again and ask them if they need any more. If they need more of some bars they purchased, or if there's something else that they had hoped they might have gotten at the time, they couldn't get it all at once. 2 weeks is a perfect time. Maybe another paydays come along. They might be ready to get something that they had thought about. Maybe they were a little bit interested in laundry products, but they weren't quite sure, and they didn't know if they wanted to invest that. But in 2 weeks, later, especially if something they purchased comes in a laundry scent, they will know at that point if they love one of those scents, and you can always make that suggestion that they try it in a laundry scent. And then 2 months later, that's a great time to call and maybe invite them to your next party. Maybe you're having an open house, or maybe you want to ask them about hosting their own party. If they've loved their products and they're ready for some new, but they don't have the funds, or it's just a good time of the year and to host, that might be a great time to ask. Okay, does anybody have a couple they want to share just real quick of what they would say for any one of them? Just shout it out if you have. Which one? 2 weeks, 2 months? 2 days? Shout out what you might say, and then everybody can.
I always ask about the quality, especially if it was like a TWS order. Did everything arrive okay? Is everything in good shape? The light bulb's good, you know.
Perfect. Anybody else have something that they would say? Yes. Okay. So just the biggest thing to remember is the fortune is in the follow-up. Most important thing ever is to remember to follow up. Don't neglect it. And if you stay on top of your follow-up, you'll have customers for life. You won't have to find new ones. I mean, new ones are nice, and you can keep finding new ones, but you won't have to be stressed about finding new ones because you'll always have the customers that you can go back to, and then will come back to you. So find a system that works, whether it's 222 or something else. Find a follow-up system that works for you, and stay on top of follow-up.